Let me end on this. Um, oh please, yes, make our characters friends. Make our character. Hey, you know what? Our characters could do whatever you want them to do. So full license, okay? Full license. Just you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me what happens. You gotta give me all the nitty gritty details. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody. Okay, let me end on something. I saw something, and I don't. It's another one of those things I'm not like delved into super. I'm just seeing it like pop up. Someone said something like toxic positivity or something. There's a lot of like toxic followed by blank that exists now, which makes sense. It's a really easy term. Like people get, what's a word? Offended at a word like microaggression is a good example of one. I feel like it's because it's a word that just makes them feel like they don't like that something that they do has an explanation attached to it. A microaggression is a really good way to explain something. It's a really good word to explain what a microaggression is. Like a microaggression is a microaggression. And I feel like some of the backlash to it is people realizing like, well, I do a bunch of those. People have put a term to what I am. It's not just like a part of my personality. But that's up, another topic, for another day, I guess. But toxic positivity, and I will look up the more like specific toxic positivity. Yeah, it's up now. Maybe it'll be nice. Is an obsession with positive thinking. It is a belief that people should put a positive spin on all experiences, even those that are profoundly tragic. And absolutely right about microaggressions. Yeah, I like to think. I think so. That's how I felt about it. That's how I felt about white privilege too. That word. When something you experience as a name put to it, and you don't like the way it's worded. White privilege is a real thing. It's really at its simplest core. I think we talked about it. I think it's any kind of privilege, but white privilege specifically, it really, for what I do, like to keep things simple. It's just how I think. In its simplest terms, it's your life would have been harder if you weren't white, even if your life was hard. Like, I've talked with my just people who are close to me about it. I'll keep it that way. Somebody who I know I'm very close to has had a really tough life, really fucking tough life, hard life, and doesn't agree with the whole like, well, I'm not privileged. Like what I went through wasn't fucking privilege, and he's absolutely right. There's no privilege in his life, except for the fact that if you were black, Latino, etc. at all, it would have been harder. It's just as simple as that. It would have been harder statistically. Maybe there's the 0.1 whatever. I don't know. But most likely, if your life was exactly the same, except you were black, it would be harder. It's just the way it is. You can't acknowledge that, and you can't go any further. There's nowhere else to go. And that's really it. It's not saying that you are inherently doing something wrong. People who think that, I don't agree with. I don't agree with that at all. Who like, you are inherently bad for existing and being who you are. But yeah, just acknowledge. You just need to. I've had a very tough life. I'm going through tough things right now in my life. There's things that I'm privileged in. There's things that I'm not privileged in. If I was black, it would be harder. you know? And I can't say especially now. It's always been rough. It's just now I think it's a little more public. I think hopefully over the next couple of years it gets easier. I hope. Fucking can't blame me for trying to be hopeful. I don't know if it's been any easier. Again, I think going back to something I said earlier in the stream, I've never been black before. I've never been a person of color before, except for this one. So I can't give you any personal experience. I could just kind of go with how you see the world changing. You see a lot more push against it. But until there's laws and, I guess until there's more laws in place and things like that, and then what did change? Just more people are talking about it. More people are getting shows canceled and then patting themselves on the back saying, we did it. We saved the city. When really what's been done? Things are still really horrible all over. But that was a little sidebar onto that. We're talking about toxic positivity. And yeah, it is a good sidebar. I'm glad that's put to tape. I really think that for a moment I saw that toxic positivity thing, and I was hit with the good old fashioned, like, wow, it really sucks to see somebody explain a trait about myself that was previously unexplained. And I don't like the explanation. There might have been a day or two where I was like, fuck that. People who think that are just fucking nihilists. Because I always feel like I'm in this fight against nihilism. I don't want to be a nihilist. I don't want to. And the allure is there. And I really was for a long time. I always joke, it's like, you know, I didn't go from a Republican to a Democrat to where I am now. You know, I went from a Republican to a nihilist to a Democrat to where I am now in terms of the American political spectrum. I had that period after I got really disillusioned with, again, I didn't want to be conservative. I was just conservative because of kind of who was around, being in the fire department too. But I stepped out for a moment. Like the moment I stepped out, I immediately was like, fuck, I don't want to fucking do this shit. And then I retreated into, well, everything's made up anyways. It doesn't matter. There is no, there really isn't a president. Everything's fucking conspiracy theories. Everything's an inside job, which there's plenty validity to some conspiracy theories, obviously. But I really retreated into that nothing matters, man. Fuck it. Let's just get drunk and play some rock and roll. And apathy, yeah. You just get completely like fuck it. And like it showed in the music I was writing too. If you go back, and we'll share some of that. If you really haven't seen it on this channel so far, I was a full-time musician for a long time. I'm a singer-songwriter. I think I'm pretty damn good at it. One day we'll bust it out. I want it to be a surprise though. I want you guys to get to know me, and then I'll surprise you with a nice music stream one day. And I'll chronicle my process as it's grown through the years. Because you got to imagine, I wrote songs when, yes, that's Entrapment, right? Surprise you with the guitar guy stream. Now, I'll keep it special. I'll tell you guys first. So I'll give you guys time to run away. Shit like that. But apathy was like the core of my music. Doesn't matter. Fuck this. It's all bad. It's dark. It's cold. Winter was a big backdrop of all the music that I wrote. I didn't write songs about the summertime. I wrote about the winter. How cold it was. Desolate it was. And that, not a way to be. I don't think that's a way to be at all. Nothing matters. Well, I guess, but everything kind of matters. You know, it's like nothing does really ultimately, but it kind of also does, you know, like small acts of kindness go towards maybe making somebody's day better. But in a million years when we're all extinct, did that matter? You know what I mean? Then you can you can keep playing it up like that. But a million years ago, somebody did something nice for someone else, whether it was a creature or something. I don't know. Someone did. Something did. Right? Had to have happened. At least once. In our definition of what kindness is, or giving, or altruism. Whatever fucking big word you want to use that makes me seem smart. I just wanted to fight against that for the longest time. And I didn't. I gave into it for a really long time. And then the whole Trump thing happened. And that was the whole big kind of conflict, you know. That was the turnaround in me where like I wanted to fight again. I wanted to do stuff, you know, be the big savior, go out and save everything, and everything's great if you make it great, if you're willing to fight for it. Again, kind of sidebarring again. Not a zenith, but a nadir. I'll pretend I know what that means. But collect my thoughts again. This toxic positivity thing, this refusing to be like, well, everything, if I just pretend everything's okay, it'll be okay. If if I just, wish it into existence. And it doesn't work like that. Things aren't balanced. I can get Donnie Darko right now. Fucking satellite fall on my head. That wouldn't be fair. What happened on stream? I'd get famous from the satellite falling on my head. Not from all the hard work I put in. Not for the nearly 35 hours of Destiny playthrough that I've already had in the last 2 weeks. Like, I wouldn't be known for all the podcasts I've done, the music I've done. I'd be the guy who had the satellite fall on his head while he streamed. There's nothing good about that. My children would be left without a father. I'd probably be embarrassed. Like, that wouldn't be what my work would be remembered for. Of course, I love a good meme, obviously. So, like, I would be a bad example because part of me would be like, yeah, if I was the guy who got famous for the big satellite falling out of the sky through his house and falling on his head, if I could see you from the afterlife, part of me would suck and be heartbreaking. But after some time and healing, I'd be like, that's kind of funny. But gotta get through that silliness. That's tragic. It's just fucking tragic. Nothing good about it. You make the most out of bad things, and I think that's a good attitude to have. Just be like, well, I'm gonna make the most out of it. If somebody knocks down your pile of bricks, you're like, well, I'm gonna build this thing back up. It sucks. Shit, maybe I'm gonna take a day off and cry about the pile of bricks you knocked over. But I'm still gonna go back and try to build the bricks back up. But fuck, man, maybe you don't have the energy to go pick those bricks up anymore. And fuck it, you know what? You should be able to do that too. And I don't think we should be faulting people for doing that. And that's the message I think I was missing for a long time. It's okay to not build again. I want to. I'm currently in a situation right now. You may not notice it, but I'm rebuilding something that was recently knocked down. I'm trying. I've done that 1,000 times. This is not my first rodeo. M3 on air, me on air, whatever you want to call it. I'm Alex. This is just a different name. I've done this a million times, not a million times, dozen times, under a dozen names. But I'm Alex. I've always been Alex doing this. And anytime I have my platform kicked down or knocked down, whatever reason it was, my own stupidity, personal problems, technical stupidity, losing passwords, whatever the fuck it was, I said, I'm just going to build again. If nobody ever watches, or if one person ever watches, that's enough. And I'll be happy with that. Not everyone's happy with that. Not everyone is fulfilled by that. And that's ignorant to think that, well, if I can think this way, everyone else can think this way. And then you start to realize, man, maybe I shouldn't be so fucking happy every time something bad happens. Maybe when something bad happens to me, or someone wrongs me, or somebody, tries to make you think you've done something wrong, maybe I shouldn't just put my hands up and be like, well, maybe I need to grow as a person. Every now and again, you're not fucking wrong. Every now and again, you're standing on the right side, and other people would make you believe you're not. Thank you for this explanation. This is my thoughts. This is my world, the world of Red Bull. Every now and again, it's okay to fight back. Every now and again, it's to be like, fuck you, dude. I'm not giving in. Because you really got to get in other people's heads, and people want you to feel wrong so they can feel right. People have authority over you because you sort of allow them to in that moment. Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes people are in positions of authority over you because they know it's best. Sometimes people are in positions of authority over top of you because they want to be best. They need to feel best. Toxic positivity. An obsession with positive thinking, and a belief that people should put a positive spin on all experiences, even those that are profoundly tragic. Going back to what we said earlier about making jokes, about people, maybe with disabilities or with, you know what I mean? People that kind of, it's hard to put into context. If you're just watching this, it was a discussion we had earlier in the stream. It was much more nuanced than that. I was going to get to a point there. I was looking at something about it. Positive spin. Yeah. So getting back to that, like, part of that, yeah, here I go generalizing again. It's one of my greatest weaknesses. But really, I just want to like to go back to that because it's like forcing someone who's been through something terrible. Oh, not I know that's a joke. Cap, you've proved we have our talks are good. We will have good talks here. You do not ever be afraid to say the wrong thing here. Please. Because I'm not. I'm not. If I say something you don't like, just say it. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty of the talks I like to have on the stream. Just say it. Oh, toxicity. Pew, pew. You goofball. But back to the point so I can wrap this stream up. This was a good one. Almost 3.5 hours now because of my fucking rambling. Better make sure my mic is actually working because I was going to post the other one, but the mic was buzzing. So we're good. We're good. I can't look at someone who's been in a horrible accident and tell them, hey, you know, we're going to turn this around and we're going to make you we're going to make you the most successful, I don't know, someone's in a fire. We're going to make you the most successful burn victim in America. It's kind of disrespectful. And as much as it seemed like a fucking, like joke, that's kind of disrespectful to say to them in that moment. We're going to make it okay. It's not okay. Covered in burns. Help me get my pot card. Help me feel better. I don't want things to be okay. I don't want to be better. I want to feel better. I think people deserve that, to be cared for, to be able to be hurt. To be like, no, I'm not all right. I'm not okay. And this isn't going to be okay. Shit, sometimes you have to leave things. I can't play music live anymore. I don't want to anymore. Maybe one day I will. This is a good example of in my personal life, but I can't keep telling myself, Alex, the best thing for you to do is to get back on the horse and to go out there and do it. No, it wouldn't be okay. That's not going to make me okay. It's going to hurt me. It's going to put me in a position where I'm not comfortable. It's going to put me in a position where I'm panicking and anxious, and I'm not doing anything to better myself. I'm just pushing through I'm pushing through something that I'm going to be fearful of when I leave it. It's not, being afraid of a roller coaster and then going on it, realizing you love roller coasters. That's reverse generalizing, right? I can't do it because it would hurt me. It would hurt me. So to be positive and good to myself, I can't put a positive spin on that. I need to leave. I need to go. I can't be like, well, let's make this better. Let's heal this. No, I want to go. Let me go. So I can be okay. That's what I'm going through something like that very recently with just a big part of my past. And it hit when I saw toxic positivity. It really did. Because I really got offended at it. Contrary to what I like to, spew about how I'm super free speech and this and that. I get offended easily. I'm sensitive. I'm a really sensitive person. I just don't believe in enforcing that on other people. On taking my sensitivity and making other people have to experience it. I feel like it should be my personal struggle. To a point. And that goes to right there. I feel like it all ties together. It's like, my sensitivity should be mine, but to the point where it's like, you should know yourself. If it hurts and it really feels wrong, no, you need to say something. You need to be like, this isn't okay. We're not putting a fucking positive spin on this. This sucks. This isn't what we do. This isn't acceptable. And you should be allowed to go and leave if you want to go. I think that's it. That was a fun talk. Thank you for letting me spill my soul on these streams. Not a lot of people watch now, but I hope they watch one day. And it's nice. They're going to be up forever. The kind of content I'm making now, especially in this first week, man, this shit's staying up forever. I want it to be viewed by myself years from now, by my kids, by people who knew me, by people who will know me. I want to try to chronicle whatever this is that I am and going through. And I'm going to set it to the backdrop of playing video games. It's the weird thing we do here. And yes, I'll spill. I am always down to spill. I'll always spill on you, Cap. Oh, well, man, you came in at the perfect time for an innuendo ender. Yeah, no, I'm still alive. I'm literally wrapping up right now, but I'm glad you got to come by and say goodbye. This was a fun stream. This was a fun talk. If you ever want to engage in conversation like this on stream, if you want it to happen, it can always happen. Ask questions. If you hear me say something you don't like, ask me to talk about it, and we'll learn. But that's it. That's the stream today. Today was fun. You're fun. I'm fun. And I'll see you guys on the next one.